Namaste. Thanks for joining me again today. My name's Saraswati, and we're going to do a little post-run yoga practice. Nothing very challenging, just decompressing the body. Let's begin. Come to the front of the mat. Bring your feet all the way together to touch. We'll start with Surya Namaskar A. For this first Surya Namaskar A, we're going to count 5 as we inhale and 5 as we exhale. So each movement will take a 5 count, a long, slow breath cycle. So begin now to activate this Ujjayi breath. You can let your eyes close for a moment here as you connect your mind to any physical sensations in your body, not pushing anything away or resisting seeing anything, just being fully present. Notice the feel of your breath as it penetrates your entire physical form from the outside in. And then as it expands you beyond your small self from the inside out. And cultivate this frame of mind and practice keeping it throughout the practice. Finish the exhale. Take a deep inhalation through the nose. And exhale. Open the mouth, let it out. Bring the hands down by the sides. We begin here, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms come up, look up, count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You fold. Inhale, lengthen the front body. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, back into a push-up position. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, up dog. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, downward facing dog. So if you just finished your exercise, you may notice you're a little bit tight in this first downward facing dog. You can begin to pump the heels up and down, dropping them side to side, just opening up the back body since you've been in perhaps a forward motion for a significant amount of time already. Finish the exhalation, lift high up onto the heels, keep the legs as straight as you can here, and begin to take small steps as you walk yourself towards the front of the mat. The hips stay very high, the hands push firmly into the ground. If the hamstrings are short, it may be difficult, but you just do your best, then feet come all the way to the front of the mat. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, fold. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, push through the feet, rise all the way up, palms touch. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, Samastiti. 2 more just like that, nice and slow. I won't count this time. Just a long inhale, arms up, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stabilize onto the left leg here. Begin to kick the right foot up just 5 times. 2, 3, 4, unsticking the hip. 5. This time on the 6th time, bring it up. Open the hip out to the side. And exhale. Place that right foot back down onto the ground. Lift the heels, bend the knees. You can lightly hop to the front of the mat here as you lengthen the front body. And then exhale, fold, push through the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, arms come down by the sides. One more time. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the front body. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stabilize onto the right leg and then 5 times up with the left, unsticking any stuckness that you might feel into the hip. 3, 4, 5, 6th time, bring it up, open the hip. And then exhale, place the foot back down onto the ground, stabilize the shoulders, the pelvis, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, and then inhale, come all the way to the front of the mat. Lengthen the front body, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, look up, and then exhale, Samasthiti. Take the hands to the hips here, lightly hop the feet apart. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, look up. Keep that length at the front body as you bring the peace fingers around the big toes here. Pull the big toes as though you're going to lift them off the ground. At the same time, push the big toes down, lengthen, look up here. Hold here for a 5 count. 1, 2, this should be a strong action. You should be pulling firmly up on the big toes. 3, pushing the big toe, base of the big toe into the ground. Feel it activate the hips. 4, inhale, look up, stretch your maximum here. Then keep this maximum openness and exhale. Release into the posture, looking up towards the belly button. Don't lose that firm foundation of pulling up on the big toes here. And then inhale, lengthen the front body, place the hands down onto the ground here, step the feet back towards each other slightly, lift the heels, bend the elbows, and bring the knees into the backs of the upper arms. If you're sweaty, it makes an extra level of challenge here. Just a low crow position, holding for 3, 2, 1. Drop the feet directly down onto the ground. Have the feet together if possible, and let the knees open out to the sides. Stretch the arms in front of you, looking slightly forward, lifting the chin here. Keep the low belly drawing in and up. Notice the fingertips pressing into the floor. There should be equal weight between the thumb, the first, second, third, and fourth fingers. Finish the exhale. Lift the hands here. Take the elbows inside of the knees and push the knees out. The palms of the hands come together. And then stretch the arms in front of you. Bring the knees together now. You're going to rock up onto the heels. The palms of the hands face the ground. And then just lightly touch the knees down to the ground. Come back to seated onto the feet, or standing onto the 2 feet. So we'll do it 6 times. That's 2. If you fall back, it's okay. 3, 4, 5. The knees just lightly touch down. Last time, 6. This time, come to the feet and then push the feet into the ground. Come all the way to standing. Step to the front of the mat if you're not there. Leave the right leg exactly where it is. Step back with the left leg. Inhale, bring the arms up. Push the feet away from each other here and square your pelvis up to the front edge of the mat. Lift the arms strong and then exhale, dive forward, stretching the fingertips out away from you here. Look about 3 to 4 feet in front of you. Begin to bend the front knee as you bring the right hand to the ground. Lift that left leg up towards the sky and then open the hip here. Inhale, bring the left arm overhead. If you can look for Ardha Chandrasana, if you can look to the thumb, then turn your vision to look upwards to the thumb. And then bend that front knee as you slowly bring the back leg back down to the ground. Slide the right hand outside of the foot or the elbow up onto the knee, and then inhale the left arm up and over. Look to the palm of the hand. Release the elbow from the knee or the hand from the ground. Then take both arms and stretch them away from you here as though you're holding a big ball. Just 2 more breaths. Then take that right arm, bring it inside the right thigh, underneath the thigh bone, and wrap it around the back body, taking a bind if possible. If not possible, you can just stay in this position, The hand on the ground, the arm overhead. If you're able to go a bit further, you look down towards the ground, you step that left leg in, and then begin to take the weight of the body onto the left foot here as you slowly lift yourself up, coming into bird of paradise. So once you get situated in your standing position, that left leg is firm. That's when you begin to straighten that right leg out. Bend the knee, slowly reverse your way back out of the position, taking that left leg back. Release the bind, place the hands down onto the ground. Step yourself back into a push-up position. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. If you have your Pinchamayurasana elbow balance, drop the elbows onto the ground and immediately kick yourself up. If you don't have it, you can look here for a second. You can just play with the elbows onto the ground, trying to find stability, or you can do these small push-ups, one elbow, then the other, or both elbows down and up. So you really get a feel for how much the hands have to work. Otherwise, you can also play around with just kicking one leg up and then kicking another leg up until you come into the posture. Maybe you hold for a breath or two, fall out, go back in. If you're holding Pinchamayurasana, try to squeeze the knees together, bend both knees, and then tuck the knees in as you slowly, lightly drop back down. Right away, lift the elbows off of the ground, and then come back into downward facing dog. Keep the right foot where it is. Step the left foot forward. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. So now we come into the left side of the body. This variation of Parsvottanasana. Inhale the arms up, look up, chin lifts. Exhale, come forward as though you're stretching the arms away from you, looking up and in front of you just slightly. Keep the low belly hugging in. And then look down towards the ground as you bring that left hand down onto the ground. You bend the front knee, lift the right leg up off of the ground, and stretch the right arm overhead. If you're working on trying to lift your vision to that thumb, the best advice I can give you is to go in increments. So you look at one point, lock your vision there, find balance, then just a slight lift up as you look at another point, and then you go point by point, each time adjusting your balance until you get all the way to the thumb. Keep that front knee bending. Take the hand down by the side and take the leg back down so the hand comes outside of the left foot or the elbow up onto the knee here, and then inhale, bring the opposite arm up and over, look to the palm of the hand. Release the hand from outside the foot or from onto the knee, stretch the two arms away from you as though you're holding a ball. And then take that left arm underneath that left thigh. Take the bind here, look down towards the big toe, step that right leg in, and then again, bird of paradise now on the left side. So you find your balance on the right foot. Begin to straighten that right leg, standing up solid on it. And then once you get solid on it, that's when you begin to straighten the left leg. Exhale, bend that left leg, reverse your way back out of it, releasing that right leg back, then both hands to the ground. Step yourself back to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. This time, bring the right leg forward, drop the left knee onto the ground, come all the way to your elbows. Step that back foot back even farther, then the left fingertips face the right toe tips, and lift the right arm up. You can stay here, or you can bend that back leg, reaching back and grabbing for the front of the ankle or the top of the foot. Open the chest here. then exhale, slowly release. Walk that right foot in slightly, drop the shin bone down to the ground so you come into this king pigeon position. The top of the back foot is onto the ground. Inhale, lengthen the front body, and exhale, release the forehead to the ground. And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring that left leg forward, bring the foot onto the ground, put the right leg back, and then reverse your way out of it so that you come back into this forward lunge, this very deep low lunge, taking that right knee back slightly. Let the left knee come forward, and then inhale, bring the left arm up. You can stay here, or you can bend that back leg, reaching for the front of the ankle or the top of the foot. Keep the chest open here. And then exhale. Place that back foot down onto the ground. Step that left foot over towards that right hand. Drop the shin bone onto the ground so the shin bone is as squared up to the front of the mat as possible. Inhale, lengthen the front body. Keep that length as you step the hands forward and bring the forehead to the ground. Walk the hands back in and then lift yourself up. Swing that left leg or that right leg forward and come to lie all the way onto the back body. Take a supported bridge or a bridge pose here. It's not necessarily supported. If you have a block, of course, you can use it underneath your buttocks. Otherwise, if you have the flexibility, grab the ankles, the front of the ankles here. The knees may extend beyond the ankles here. That's okay right away. At the beginning, then pull the ankles in towards you. Lift yourself up. At some point, you want to push the feet into the ground so that the skin at the back of the neck draws towards the buttocks. As the arms pull onto the front of the ankles, and as much as possible, get the knees over the ankles. You have to squeeze the buttocks here. And then rock yourself down. Let the ankle or the knees come in front of the ankles as you slowly release out of it. This time you can repeat the posture. If you want to go up into full wheel, take the hands next to the ears, the fingertips face towards the toes. Depending on what position you're going to go into, you'll go into either one now. So if you're going into bridge pose, once again, lift yourself up. If you're going into full wheel, push down through the feet and lift up from the head. At first, don't change anything. Don't adjust the hands and the feet if you're in full wheel. Instead, just begin to bring this rocking motion in. You let the knees come forward to the front of the mat, then push back so that the arms go back. The chest opens more. And then exhale, come down. So no matter what position you took, you'll come down now. Relax the arms out to the sides for just a moment. Allow yourself to decompress here. We're going to do it one more time, this time coming to your maximum. Of course, you can choose to repeat bridge pose. You can also take this opportunity to take a supported bridge pose, putting a block underneath your buttocks. Or if you're ready for the openness, just the thing about activities, athletics, they keep us all working in the front of the body, always pushing forward, forward, forward. So we really want to work on awakening to the posterior chain, the back of the body, as much as possible, and reversing some of that chronic front activation from endurance athletics. So if you're taking full wheel, even if it's uncomfortable, which it usually is, especially after a run or something, the hands go back down, the fingertips face towards the heels of the feet. Push yourself up, come into it all the way, and then Step the feet back first, and then once you stabilize onto the feet, begin to bring the arms back. Hold here, 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale. Slowly release yourself back down out of the position. And right away, don't stop here, don't rest here. The body can seize up if it thinks it needs to protect itself because it was an extreme movement. Take that left ankle and cross it over the right knee and then lift the right leg up. Straighten the right leg here. Interlace the fingers, grab around the back of the right thigh, and then begin to push the thigh into the hands as you pull the thigh in towards you. So these two opposing actions. At the same time, spread the toes of the left foot and press the left knee back. Feel the lower back onto the ground and try to make it as even as possible between the right and the left sides. And then exhale. Bend that right knee, place the right foot onto the ground, take the left foot onto the ground, and then switch sides, cross the right ankle over that left knee, and then lift the left foot off the ground, straighten the left leg. So again, spread the toes of both feet here, press that right knee back away from you. At the same time, pull the thigh in towards you with the strength of the arms and push the thigh away from you with the strength of the leg. These two opposing actions. Feel the lower back onto the ground, make it even between the right and the left sides. And exhale. Slowly release. Wrap your hands around the fronts of the knees, roll yourself up to a seated position. Scoot yourself back slightly, stretch the legs away from you here, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, lift the arms up, look up, and then exhale, lengthen over the legs, relax the forehead down. What happens if you're really inflexible in your hamstrings here? Just grab the shin bones or a belt if you have one. Then the feeling is that you pull the shins towards you to lift the chest. So this is going to be better for you over the long term than trying to fold forward. And eventually this will lead to the ability to fold forward. But you have to be humble enough to back way up before you can go even farther. Exhale, inhale, lift up, bend the right knee. Take the right hand behind you, prop yourself up slightly so you're actually sitting forward on that right foot, and then bring the left elbow outside the right thigh. You can straighten the arm or keep the elbow bent, whatever's right for you, and just turn and look back. If you find yourself comfortable with that position and you want to go further into an arm balance, you can just drop both elbows down onto the ground now, lift up onto that foot slightly, stack the thigh onto that left elbow and the hip onto the right elbow, and then straighten the two legs out to the side. Bend that knee, come right back into the same first position, this Asana position, and then stretch the right leg away from you. So you can always just stay in the Asana position and not take the arm balance, or you can choose to take the arm balance, whatever's right for you. Now the left knee bends, sit up solid on that left foot, take the right hand or that left hand behind you, and the right elbow goes to the outside of the upper left thigh. Really feeling the back body open, and then twist the head, looking back as far as possible here. And then you can either stay in this position or you can keep the elbow where it is onto the thigh. That left elbow now goes up into the left hip, and then you straighten the two legs. Bend that left knee, reverse your way right out of it. Come to sit back down onto the ground. Stretch the legs away from you. And then bend both legs as you bring the bottoms of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. Grab onto the tops of the feet here. Lift the chest. Push the feet solidly into one another. You can pull the flesh of the buttocks out behind you so that you have a more stable foundation. Then take the hands to the just below the knee joint. You don't want to press on the knee joint, sensitive joint in the body, and push the thighs down to the ground. It's okay if these shoulders come up towards the ears now. Look down towards the ground. Let it be a strong effort. You can begin to come slightly forward if that works for your body, and then stretch the arms out away from you. Not worrying about bringing the head down to the ground right now, unless it's comfortable for you, in which case go for it. Comfort is sort of a misleading term. It's subjective. Discomfort may be a lot more comfortable to somebody than to one person than another. If you've trained yourself in yoga, then you've trained yourself in the art of accepting and maybe even appreciating and inviting in discomfort, because you see that it brings you gain. Inhale, come all the way up, and then actually scoot yourself to the back of the mat here and set up for headstand. If you have headstand, this way we get some reverse circulation in the legs. If you have a headstand, then you take it right now and interlace your fingers. Just come into Salamba Shirshasana, so fully supported headstand. If you don't have headstand or you're working on it, take yourself to a wall. The elbows come underneath the shoulders. The fingers are interlaced and the hands have to touch the back of the skull. So that's the thing I see happening the least with people. If you have your headstand, just go right up into it. We'll stay here for about 15 breaths. You can either bend the knees, take one leg up and then another, or you can lift both legs straight off the ground, depending on what's in your practice. And make sure you're not too far forward on the forehead or too far back on the rounded part of the skull. You want to find that neutral spot. Make sure you're pushing weight into the elbows, whether you're at the wall or you're at the center of a room. The elbows take even weight, the inner and outer elbow, and then that weight travels from the elbow down the forearm all the way to the wrist, so that the lower arm feels as though it gets longer. Take 2 or 3 more breaths here as I talk about coming out of the posture. So you can come out of it however you need to, especially if you're at a wall. Just come out slowly. If you want to come out and transition into chaturanga, the legs come down about halfway. Then once the legs come down halfway, you stretch them away from you to the back of the mat. Drop them to the ground into a low plank position. Lift onto the elbows, come right into chaturanga. Then inhale into up dog and exhale into downward facing dog. Jump forward, come to sit onto the buttocks here, and then lie all the way onto the back body. We'll take Salamba Sarvangasana, full body supported shoulder stand here. Make sure your hair is out of the way. Tuck the shoulders in right away here, and then roll the legs back, coming into a plow pose first. Set yourself up here by taking the back body strongly with the hands. The fingertips face up towards the buttocks. And they sort of lock into place. Weight again is in the elbows evenly. Stretch the legs up towards the sky. Keep some space between the chin and the chest, almost like you have a golf ball in that sweet spot of your neck, looking towards the belly button or the big toes here. Try to hold your shoulder stand for about 30 more seconds. Really noticing how over time the shoulders begin to get more and more even. You have to really be present with the mind, with the feeling of the tops of the shoulders connecting to the earth. Exhale, slowly roll out. Look back behind you. Don't let the head pop off of the ground. Keep the head onto the ground as you bring the legs down as well. And then right away, take the hands underneath the buttocks here. The palms of the hands are onto the floor. Point the toes as you stretch the legs. Then bend the elbows and walk them in towards one another as you come to the crown of the head, opening up the throat here. And then exhale and slowly release. Hug the knees in towards the chest for a moment. Just allow yourself to roll slightly around onto the sacrum. And then you can lift the legs up. Let the legs open out to the side as you come into this happy baby position. The bottoms of the feet face up towards the sky. You're grabbing the outer edges of the feet, opening up the inner thighs here, maximum. Of course, it's your practice, so if you find there's an area of your body that just hasn't gotten the work that it needs after whatever fitness or physical activity you do, I find my body really tells me what it's asking for, what kinds of things, movements it needs to counterbalance the physical activity I did. So you can just listen into your body and see what it's asking for. Release that posture, hug the knees, roll yourself all the way up, and then take yourself forward, come into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, look up. Exhale, downward facing dog, and then come into Savasana. Roll over or lie onto the back. Stretch the arms and the legs away from you, especially if you have the space. Wherever you are in the world, try to open up. Make use of the space. You can even say, I'm taking space that's available to me as an act of generosity to all beings. May all beings have space. May all beings have openness. May all beings have the ability to practice what's important to them. And you let go here. And finish the exhalation. You can take as much time as you need here. Decompressing. If you have some way to hang upside down, I highly recommend that after any physical activity. Otherwise, you can come up if you're ready. Just come to a seated position. Thanks for practicing with me today. I hope your practice benefits all that you come in contact with, and our practice together benefits all of humanity. Namaste.